what is the reason that those videos or your messages or chief's messages is not reaching to the right minister, to the right department, and we are into the rolling doors?
And I find everything in Ottawa moves slowly. It needs to be treated with urgency. It's about people literally being stopped on the street and their car being stolen at gunpoint. The reason I'm so outspoken is I feel and hear.
It does get frustrating, but we have a job to do, and there's things that we need to do in the community and serve the community. So we come in.
That 14 of the 26 arrested, so that's over half of them, were already on a form of release or bail for auto theft related offenses.
You've heard today that more than half of the people that we arrested in this investigation were already on some form of prior release for auto theft. Of the people that we arrested, charged, and held for bail, all of them are already out on release and back in the communities in which they live.
ਪੀਲ ਰੀਜਨਲ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਨੇ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ ਕਾਨਫਰੰਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ ਓਡੀਸੀ ਦੇ ਤਹਿਤ 369 ਸਟੋਲਨ ਵਹੀਕਲਸ ਰਿਕਵਰ ਕੀਤੇ ਗਏ ਹੈ, ਜਿਹਦੀ ਵੈਲਿਊ ਅਪਰੋਕਸੀਮੇਟਲੀ 33 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਦੱਸੀ ਗਈ ਹੈ। ਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ ਹੈ ਆ ਪਿਛਲੇ 18 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ 200 ਦੇ ਕਰੀਬ ਇੰਡੀਵਿਜੂਅਲਸ ਨੂੰ ਚਾਰਜ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵੈਲਿਊ ਦੱਸੀ ਹੈ 33 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ। ਔਰ ਪੀਲ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦੇ ਚੀਫ ਨਿਸ਼ ਦੁਰਿਆਪਾ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ 100 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਦੇ ਕਰੀਬ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਬਚਾਈਆਂ ਗਈਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਚੋਰੀ ਨਾ ਹੋ ਸਕਣ। ਸੋ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਔਰ ਇਨਵੈਸਟੀਗੇਟਰ ਆਫਿਸਰਸ ਨੂੰ ਇਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਵਧਾਈ ਬਣਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੰਨਾ ਅੱਛਾ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ। ਲੇਕਿਨ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਅਰੈਸਟ ਕੀਤੇ ਗਏ ਹੈ, ਟੋਟਲ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ ਓਡੀਸੀ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ 16 ਜਣਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਰੈਸਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ, 10 ਜਣੇ ਹੱਲੇ ਵੀ ਵਾਂਟਡ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ 16 ਜਣੇ ਅਰੈਸਟ ਕੀਤੇ ਗਏ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ 'ਚ 6 ਲੋਕ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਹੈ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਹਰਮੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ 34 ਸਾਲ ਦੇ, ਬਲਬੀਰ ਸਿੰਘ 49 ਇਅਰਸ ਦੇ, ਗੁਰਜਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ 29 ਇਅਰਸ, ਗੁਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਢਿੱਲੋਂ 41 ਸਾਲ, ਜਗਮੋਹਨ ਸਿੰਘ 57 ਸਾਲ। ਆ ਲੋਕ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ, ਟੋਰਾਂਟੋ ਔਰ ਮੌਂਟਰੀਅਲ ਤੋਂ ਬਿਲੋਂਗ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੈ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੀਲ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਨੇ ਅਰੈਸਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ। ਆ 6 ਜਣੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਹੈ ਲੇਕਿਨ ਬਾਕੀ ਹੋਰ 10 ਜਣੇ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਅਰੈਸਟ ਕੀਤੇ। 16 ਜਣੇ ਟੋਟਲ ਅਰੈਸਟ ਕੀਤੇ ਹੈ, 10 ਜਣੇ ਵਾਂਟਡ ਹੈ। ਔਰ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਆ ਇੱਕ ਸਕਸੈਸ ਹੈ ਜਿਹਦੇ 'ਚ 369 ਵਹੀਕਲਸ ਰਿਕਵਰ ਕੀਤੇ ਗਏ 33 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਦੇ। ਲੇਕਿਨ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਸ਼ੌਕਿੰਗ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਜੋ ਅਰੈਸਟ ਕੀਤੇ ਗਏ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ 'ਚੋਂ ਮੈਕਸਿਮਮ ਲੋਕ ਬੇਲ ਤੇ ਛੱਡਤੇ ਗਏ ਹੈ। ਯੈਸ, ਜਿੰਨੇ ਅਰੈਸਟ ਕੀਤੇ ਗਏ 16 ਜਣੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਲੋਕ 14 ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਲੋਕ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਬੇਲ ਤੇ ਆਲਰੇਡੀ ਛੱਡਤੇ ਗਏ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਸਵਾਲ ਸਾਡਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਬਣਦਾ ਹੈ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਿਸਟਮ ਨੂੰ, ਸਾਡੇ ਲਾਅ ਨੂੰ, ਸਾਡੇ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰਸ ਨੂੰ ਔਰ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਮੇਅਰ ਬਰਾਊਨ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਆ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਕਿ ਆ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਦੀ ਰਿਵੋਲਵਿੰਗ ਡੋਰਸ 'ਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਘੁੰਮਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਹੀਨੀਅਸ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਬਿਲੀਅਨਸ ਡਾਲਰ ਦੀ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਲਾਸ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਟੈਕਸ ਪੇਅਰਸ ਦਾ ਲਾਸ ਹੈ, ਟੈਕਸ ਪੇਅਰਸ ਦਾ ਮਨੀ ਹੈ। ਇੰਸ਼ੋਰੈਂਸ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਲੇਮਸ ਹੈ ਉਹਦਾ ਪੇ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਆ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਰਿਕਵਰ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਬਾਅਦ 'ਚ, ਔਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਲੋਕ ਫੜੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਆ ਰਾਈਟ ਵੇ ਫੜਨ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਹੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਬੇਲ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਨਿਕਲ ਜਾਂਦੇ। ਇਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਸਿਸਟਮ ਨੂੰ ਸਵਾਲ ਹੈ, ਜਸਟਿਸ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਨੂੰ ਸਵਾਲ ਹੈ, ਪਬਲਿਕ ਸੇਫਟੀ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਨੂੰ ਸਵਾਲ ਹੈ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਕਿਹਾ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦੀ ਤਰਫ ਤੋਂ ਕਿ ਬੇਲ ਰਿਫਾਰਮ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਜਨਵਰੀ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਉਹ ਲਾਗੂ ਹੋ ਗਏ। ਨਵੇਂ ਰਿਫਾਰਮਸ ਹੈ, ਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨਲਸ ਬਿਹਾਈਂਡ ਦ ਜੇਲ ਰਹੋਗੇ। ਹੁਣ ਰੀਸੈਂਟ ਕੰਜ਼ਰਵੇਟਿਵ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਡਿਪਟੀ ਲੀਡਰ ਇੱਕ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਵੇਟ ਬਿੱਲ ਵੀ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਸੀ, ਟਿਮ ਉੱਪਲ, ਉਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ। ਬਿੱਲ C-381 ਉਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨਲ ਨੂੰ ਜਦ ਫੜਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਰਿਪੀਟਡ ਅਫੈਂਡਰਸ ਨੂੰ, ਆਟੋ ਥੈਫਟ ਨੂੰ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੌਂਗਰ ਟਾਈਮ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਜੇਲ੍ਹ ਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਜਾਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ। ਲੇਕਿਨ ਉਹ ਬਿੱਲ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟ 'ਚ ਵੋਟਿੰਗ ਹੋਈ ਲੇਕਿਨ ਬਿੱਲ ਪਾਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਇਆ, ਵੋਟਸ ਉਹਦੇ ਅਗੇਂਸਟ ਪਈਆਂ, ਕਿਉਂ? ਸੋ ਆ ਸਵਾਲ ਹੈ ਕਿ 16 ਜਣੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ ਓਡੀਸੀ ਤੇ ਅਰੈਸਟ ਕੀਤੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੈ ਲੇਕਿਨ 14 ਜਣਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਲਰੇਡੀ ਬੇਲ ਮਿਲ ਚੁੱਕੀ ਹੈ ਫੜਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ। ਸੋ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਮਾਰਕ ਹੈ। ਇਹਦਾ ਜਵਾਬ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਚੁਣੇ ਹੋਏ ਜੋ ਨੁਮਾਇੰਦੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਪੁੱਛੋ। ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਸਾਰੀ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ ਓਡੀਸੀ ਦੀ।
So since October of 2023, we have been investigating hundreds of stolen autos that have been destined for foreign markets. This is a highly orchestrated criminal operation where several individuals were responsible for stealing the vehicles through various methods, many of which we have come to know that include violent carjackings, as well as other methods of stealing vehicles for the intention of shipping overseas. Through this investigation, the shipping company, which happened to be family members, were collaborating with organized groups of individuals to facilitate the export of stolen autos to the United Arab Emirates and also to the ports in Oman via the Port of Montreal. Our investigators were able to not only identify the suspects involved in this, but they were also able to intercept 369 stolen vehicles, which were recovered and repatriated, which have a value of over $33 million. We have also arrested 16 individuals and laid 322 charges, and also have an additional 10 warrants for other suspects that are outstanding. In total, we will lay 340 charges related to auto theft. I should note, and it is a topic of conversation where we see repeated individuals continue to victimize our community, that 14 of the 26 arrested, so that's over half of them, were already on a form of release or bail for auto theft related offenses. This has been Peel Regional Police's most significant auto theft investigation to date, and it's a testament to the incredible work of the individuals that are standing behind me. In the last 18 months, our Peel Regional Police Commercial Auto Crimes Unit has arrested nearly 200 individuals and have laid close to 1,600 auto theft related charges and have recovered close to $100 million worth of vehicles. That are vehicles that have not left our country because they've been able to intercept them and repatriate them. And just to be clear, that's $100 million worth of vehicles that have not ended into the hands of organized crime. And also prevent activities such as trafficking and firearms-related offenses, including drug offenses, that plague our community. Auto crimes have evolved and become more complex. Criminal groups, as we know, are expanding their efforts right across this country and internationally. We have seen how home invasions, carjackings have victimized our community because people are maximizing on this low-risk, high-reward criminal activity. We are laser focused on stopping those responsible and for holding them accountable.
Good morning. This is Nitin Chopra from Prime Asia TV. 16 arrested and they are already out on bail. I want to hear from the investigator officer. First of all, congrats to whole of the team, to law enforcement, how they feel when the people, repeated offender, when they catch and system releases them. And also Mayor Brown, as for last 4 years, you made a lot of videos asking the governments, concerned governments, for the bail reforms. And still we are into revolving doors, as everybody mentioned that. So what else can we do? And this can't be a wake-up call, because wake-up call could have been 4 years ago when this process started, and 100 millions we saved, but 500 million plus we already lost. So I want to hear from Mayor Brown and investigator officer. Thank you.
Thank you. Your question was, personal opinion on how we feel as investigators in relation to the catch and release program. I've got a dedicated group here, myself and Detective Haywood. These guys come into work every day. They're doing the investigations. It does get frustrating, but we have a job to do, and there's things that we need to do in the community and serve the community. So we come in. We can't, take things personal and sit there and have, be slighted by anything that goes on. We just put forward our best effort, and, we lay the charges and push it forward for the criminal justice system. I think we have the right management in place with the mayor and the community behind us as well. I think they're doing the proper channels of advocating and being a voice for us. That's the nice thing that, we're very fortunate here to have, is management from the top down supports us and allows us and assists us in these investigations.
So I would just add that there was some progress made in the sense that the advocacy that was embarked upon 4 years ago for bail reform did result in new legislation for guns and drugs. And so that came into effect January 1st. What our concerted plea now is that there needs to be additional provisions when it comes to property theft. Do you recall the recent Project 24 Carat, that famous gold heist that the police were able to dismantle? That was an example of, even though it was $20 million worth of gold, because it's property, many of the individuals were released very shortly thereafter. And so I think this speaks as a reminder that we do need to take property crime in particular, everything from gold to cars, more seriously. And I hope that when the Minister of Justice reads the report of this incredible police work, they'll realize that this is a missing component that needs to be addressed.
Anyone can answer that. When a vehicle is stolen, the insurance company, they take 14 days or 20 days and then they pass the claim to the owner. So what happens with the recovered stolen vehicles? Because that's already a taxpayer's money is lost when the claim is given to the owner. And when police recover these stolen vehicles, so what we do with these vehicles then?
So upon the recovery of vehicles, we process them. They go to our forensic bays where they go through, looking for fingerprints and DNA in that aspect. The vehicles are then returned. If there isn't a payout, it goes back to the insurance company. We do our best to be out there responding to these and recovering these vehicles. Also with, the assistance of CBSA, it's helped us in a lot of recoveries and able to, identify containers and get those vehicles back for individuals.
Sorry, I would just maybe add and complement that with, it's really important to understand that the insurance companies are not being excised from this conversation. Our police service is doing everything we can to work with the stakeholders that have the ability to make change for our community. Just this past weekend, we were at the national conference for CAA insurance brokers to share what the issue is, to share what can be done and what particularly they can do to help us address the issue of auto theft. So thank you for that question, Neetan.
Mayor, your reaction on this success by the Peel Police?
Well, first of all, I want to thank Prime Asia for covering this auto theft crisis for the last 4 years. One of the first organizations to really take this seriously, one of the first media organizations. Listen, I'm so proud of the Peel Police. They work so hard. We have the largest commercial auto theft unit in the country. They put hundreds of hours into breaking apart this investigation. And this was a sophisticated, organized crime syndicate that was stealing cars in our community. In this case, they all got arrested. Yep. They got caught. The police did their work, and their hard work, sometimes dangerous work. They put themselves in harm's way. It paid off. 366 cars are not going to organized crime. But what I said today is it should be a wake-up call for the urgency of this. I don't want to wait on shipping containers, scanners. I don't want to wait on the police having jurisdiction. Frankly, I wish it could have been done 4 years ago. And I want to see, bail change for property crime. And so I'm proud of their work, but as you can imagine, I'm a little bit frustrated that the simple solutions that I've been pointing out and the police have been pointing out for years haven't been treated with the type of urgency that they require.
Mayor, you, not only in Brampton, but whole of the Canada, you are a mayor who is the biggest advocate for this auto theft, because this is a heinous crime. We have seen many violent carjackings also. So what is the reason? Like, you made a lot of videos for last 4 years. You are asking the provincial government, for the federal government, for the bail reforms, to the justice minister. His own car was stolen. What is the reason that those videos or your messages or chief's messages is not reaching to the right minister, to the right department, and we are into the rolling doors?
So I think it's reaching them. They're just moving slowly. And I find everything in Ottawa moves slowly. It needs to be treated with urgency. And the reason I've been so outspoken about it is I get calls. I get calls from residents who would tell me how horrifying it is, where their door was banged down with their kids asleep at night. I've heard stories about people literally being stopped on the street and their car being stolen at gunpoint. The reason I'm so outspoken is I feel and hear the anger of my residents. And this is not just in Brampton. I look at the numbers, it's across Ontario and Quebec. It is staggering, the numbers across Ontario and Quebec. It's on government to solve this. I don't want people to have to resort, to arming themselves or getting bullards in their driveways or hiring private security. That's what people are talking about, saying if the government's not going to fix this, they're not going to secure our ports and intermodal hubs, we're going to take it upon ourselves. It can't get to that in a democratic country like Canada, where the rule of law needs to be enforced.
January 2024, federal counterpart said the bail reform is already in place. The new bail reform, and we'll see the effect soon. Are there enough bail reforms what implemented in January?
So the bail reform is only addressing gun and drug crimes. It does nothing for property theft. And that's one of the reasons I went to Ottawa to meet with the Minister of Justice. It's why our Police Services Board wrote a letter to the Minister of Justice. What we're seeing is the same criminals, when it comes to auto thefts, are committing the same crimes again and again and again. 14 of the individuals charged in this investigation were already on release from another auto theft crime. And even more shocking is 8 of them have already been released again.
When mayor says I'm frustrated, every press release when the auto theft is there, we praise the police forces, but with the system we says we are frustrated. Our investigator officer today said that he's doing their job, catching them, but we are frustrated. How much more frustrations Canadians have to see, Mayor?
Well, I'm hoping that press conferences like this, the results of this investigation, are going to help provide momentum for the government to fix this. That I hope they're listening. It's so blatant that they should be listening. But to the police, I want our residents to know that our Peel police, you may not see it, but I see it. They're putting thousands of hours into these investigations. They are working so hard. They are going sometimes undercover, dangerous conditions, putting their lives at risk to catch these criminals. You know, we should be applauding our local police for going above and beyond and really pointing our finger at the ministers responsible that could change this, whether it's the ports or the criminal code, to fix this. Because our frontline police heroes, if they're risking their lives to catch and arrest these criminals, they need to stay behind bars.
So we have from this week, we have 2 videos of car theft from the Peel region, from the Brampton. What message you want to give to the Bramptonians or Canadians, like what they can do with their federal or provincial counterparts, their politicians, because this is not a wake-up call. Wake-up call is one incident happened, that's a wake-up call. Your message to the region.
Well, you know, we have a menu of requests we've made to address auto theft. And if you're speaking to federal representatives, please say to them, listen to Chief Nish, listen to Mayor Brown, listen to the Peel Police, listen to law enforcement across the GTA in terms of the pleas and the requests that we've made. And for residents watching, know that I will not let up. I will not relent. I'm going to continue to badger governments to make sure this gets fixed. And I will not stop being outspoken. I will not stop releasing these videos. I will not stop going to Ottawa to make this pitch until it's solved.
As we've heard today, we've heard from the chief, we've heard from Greg. We are currently charging and arresting more people than we ever have. And we're going to continue that trend. We are recovering record amounts of stolen cars. Last year alone, you heard about what our commercial auto crime unit is responsible for, but last year alone, we recovered over 3,000 stolen vehicles. And that's being done in response to what is an obvious community concern. We hear our community. And we're going to, as I mentioned, continue doing that until the people that are involved in it and responsible for it understand it's a very simple message. Peel is not the place to come and steal cars, and it's not the place to benefit from stolen cars. I want that message loud and clear. You've heard today that more than half of the people that we arrested in this investigation were already on some form of prior release for auto theft. Of the people that we arrested, charged, and held for bail, all of them are already out on release and back in the communities in which they live.
The Commercial Auto Crime Bureau has been investigating several individuals, part of an organized auto theft group responsible for the theft and shipment of hundreds of stolen motor vehicles. The investigation's focus has been primarily on the transportation of stolen vehicles through carjackings, extortions, and other criminal offenses throughout the Greater Toronto Area. The project began after information was received of stolen vehicles within a shipping area in the address of Highway 50 and Fogle Road in the city of Brampton. At that time, we recovered 2 stolen vehicles, a 2024 Jeep Wrangler and a 2023 Chevrolet Suburban. In December of 2023, officers received further information about a transport truck that was being loaded within stolen vehicles in the city of Mississauga. Officers were able to locate that shipping container after it left an industrial area and attended an address in Brampton. At that time, the driver of the truck was arrested, and a BMW X6 valued at $110,000 and a 2023 Ford F-150 valued at $86,000 was recovered. As the investigation continued, investigators identified a local truck company that was facilitating the shipping of motor vehicles. A local company and trucking yard were identified within the region of Peel, and a family was identified who was responsible for facilitating and loading the transportation of motor vehicles. These individuals were facilitating the shipment of stolen vehicles through local intermodal hubs within the Greater Toronto Area and traveling the 401 corridor to the Port of Montreal. The vehicles were intended to be exported to the ports in the United Arab Emirates and the Port of Oman. Based on the evidence, we believe the trucking company owners, workers, and operators were fully aware and complicit in the shipping of these stolen vehicles. Investigators also identified several individuals involved in the theft and transport of stolen vehicles to the yard from local areas within the Greater Toronto Area. We identified numerous loading locations within the region of Peel. As part of the investigation, investigators traveled to the Port of Montreal, where 37 containers were opened with the assistance of the Port Authority and Canada Border Services Agency. As a result of our investigation, we have recovered 369 vehicles. We seized 3 transport trucks and 2 stolen bobcats, which were being facilitated at the yard, and those items have been seized as offense-related property. A total of $33.2 million was recovered in stolen vehicles before it was destined out of the country. To date, we have identified 26 suspects, including 16 who have been arrested and charged with 322 auto-related offenses. A total of 340 charges will be laid with the outstanding warrants. The following residents of Peel Region have been arrested and charged with auto theft-related offenses. Birpal Singh, 29 years old, was charged with auto theft-related offenses, as well as several firearm-related offenses when a warrant was executed as residents. Harmeet Singh, 34 years old. Valbir Singh, 49 years old. Gurpreet Dhillon, 41 years old. Asad Mayo, 28 years old. Jagmohan Singh, 57 years old. Mohammed Siddiqui, 40 years old.
We've mentioned previously that auto theft is the 3rd largest revenue tool for organized crime in Canada, and it's growing by the year. In 2022, it was $1.2 billion, and in 2023, it could be nearing $2 billion. This is the largest gift to organized crime in Canadian history, and Chief Nish has been the most outspoken in the country about how we solve this. And I have to say to Deputy Chief Milinovic and Detective Greg O'Connor, these are probably the 2 smartest minds in the country when it comes to auto theft criminality, and I'm just so grateful that we've got such an incredible team here. That the PRP is the best of the best when it comes to solving difficult crimes. I think this announcement with Project Odyssey should also be a wake-up call for what we're dealing with. And I can be a little less diplomatic than the police leadership have to be, but this should be a wake-up call. 14 of 26 individuals already on release for auto theft-related crimes. 14 of 26. The Minister of Justice, Varani, to plea for to stricter conditions when it comes to property theft. We don't take property theft seriously in this country. I would note our Police Services Board wrote a letter based on the feedback we heard from the Peel Police, pleading for stricter sentencing, pleading for more stringent conditions when it comes to property crime. I also understand that 8 of the individuals who were charged in this Project Odyssey are already released. That is not acceptable. We have to do better. We can't have a criminal justice system that's a revolving door. And I have to say, when you've got an incredible team here, the best of the best when it comes to investigations, I feel it's disheartening for them that they put this incredible time to get those responsible to see them released only days later. We have to do better.